Yeah, our fashion edit for spring just yesterday, and all of our top brands when it comes to fashions and our #1 beautiful accessories and fine jewelry. Of course, exclusive is absolute is what we're talking about today. We are going to focus in on our top selling design in every jewelry category when it comes to earrings. And of course, that's the hoop earring. So what we did here, of #1 diameter in size, most requested. Then we did the pave setting. Not only are these pave set on the most important part, which is in the front, they were able to pave set each side. So on either side, we've never done that before, you have individual pave set, gorgeous absolutes. And there's a lot of carat weight here. Oh my goodness, over 6.5 carats. So you have over 3 carats in a diamond hoop earring in each one of these. That's a lot. That is a tremendous lot. Now, I took one of these off because I do want to give you a tour, because I've never seen this done quite like this, where you have in the front, the pave set, goes all the way around, all the way, the entire 1 3/8 of an inch in the length, so it's a great diameter. But then from the side profile, and if you think about it, it just makes great sense because people see you from the side, right? And then on the inside, you have all individually pave. That's a lot of individual hand-setting, tedious design work on this beautiful precious sterling silver hoop. $89.95, and let me tell you, every bit that of an over $200 appraisal. You know, we were saying earlier, we do 3 outside appraisals when we have an appraised value up on our graphics, and we don't take the high, we don't take the mid of those 3 outside appraisals, we take the lowest of the 3. So I mean, $212, and you're getting these what, at $89.95? So that's over 60% off of what you, almost 60% off of what you would expect to pay in retail. And we added the extra flex. So I want to reiterate that, what flex pay is all about, because this is definitely the time to jump in on that. It's under $23. That'll be your first monthly payment with your shipping and handling for the month of February. And we ship these to you in the next few days. They will be at your front door with your unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. Then in March, your credit card will be billed $22.50. And then in April, but if you pay it off, there's no interest incurring. It's my #1 favorite thing about shopping here at HSN. And I did go ahead and changed into our Invisible Twinkle Solitaire Pendant Necklace, which is getting very, very close to being sold out. So if you're wondering, what is that sparkle? What is that beautiful pendant Lynn is wearing? We still do have it available, but I want to say maybe 150. Is it right? I'm absolutely brilliant, my producer just said. Hence our absolute brilliant show that we're having here today. 150 of the pendants still remain. But a hoop earring, it's your signature. I've been saying this for years. Listen, when in doubt, and I don't know about you, but I'm naked. I can go without a necklace. I can go without a ring. If I don't have my earrings on, I feel naked. And it's always the hoop. I always say, when in doubt, you're not sure what to wear in the ear, always go with a hoop earring. And if you can make it a diamond hoop earring, why in the world wouldn't we? And not only any ordinary diamond, how about an equivalent of over 6 carats of beautiful diamonds? You know, sometimes we just have to do that in relation to the reality of purchasing not only diamond hoop earrings, but diamond hoop earrings that have this kind of workmanship and brilliance to it and carat weight. They'd be off the chain so expensive. And that's the look. That's exactly the look that we are bringing to you in Absolute. These have the butterfly backings. They have your post settings, so they're sturdy, they're secured. And the other thing I love about these, if you'll notice, they go right up. I don't know how close we can get. There you go. You don't have any metal. You know, a lot of times what goes up against the lobe of your ear is like a shield. There's nothing. So this looks like it's just endless. It goes right through the actual piercing. That's also a more expensive detail that you don't always find, especially in this price point. So very